Texas judge just denied a new trial for a teen convicted in a fatal stabbing despite new evidence. A high school coach got fired for what might be the wildest practice incident of the year, and a Dunkin employee decided the sink was the perfect place for a foot bath. Let's get into all of it. A Texas judge denied Karmelo Anthony's request for a new trial on Saturday, and the case is now headed to the Texas Appeals Court. Anthony, now 19, was convicted of murder in June and sentenced to 35 years in prison for the fatal stabbing of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf at a high school track meet. The case drew massive national attention and resulted in harassment campaigns targeting both families. Anthony's legal team filed for a new trial after what they called new evidence surfaced about Metcalf's past, but the judge wasn't having it. Court records show Anthony's defense argued that information about Metcalf's history should have been admissible during the original trial. They claimed it was relevant to their self-defense argument and could have changed the outcome. The prosecution maintained that the evidence presented at trial was sufficient for the jury to reach a guilty verdict. They argued that Anthony's actions met the legal standard for murder under Texas law, regardless of any additional background information. Meanwhile, Austin Metcalf's father has been vocal about the case, going nuclear on Anthony's parents in recent statements. He called Anthony's father a coward and his mother a drunk, and reportedly contacted CPS about the family. The tension between the families has only escalated since the conviction. What started as a tragedy at a high school track meet has turned into a full-blown war of words, with both sides refusing to back down. Anthony's defense team now has to convince the Texas Appeals Court that the trial judge made a legal error by excluding the evidence they wanted to present. That's a much higher bar than just asking for a do-over. The appeals process could take months or even years, and there's no guarantee it will result in a new trial or a reduced sentence. For now, Anthony is serving his 35-year sentence while his lawyers prepare their arguments. This judge clearly wasn't convinced the new evidence would have changed anything, but that's nothing compared to what a high school coach just lost his job over. Charleston White is back with another hot take, and this time he's going after Jay-Z. During a recent interview, White straight up called Hov a has-been, which is about as bold as it gets in hip-hop. White has built his entire platform on saying what others won't, and apparently that includes dismissing one of the most successful rappers and businessmen in history. The comment came during a broader conversation about hip-hop's current state. For context, Jay-Z has been dominating the culture for over 25 years, from Reasonable Doubt to becoming hip-hop's first billionaire. He's got multiple platinum albums, owns a chunk of the streaming industry, and married Beyonce. White's criticism seems to focus on relevance rather than legacy. He's arguing that Jay's best days are behind him, which is different from saying he was never great to begin with. The internet's reaction has been mixed. Some people think White is just trying to get attention by attacking a legend, while others appreciate that he's willing to say what he thinks without worrying about the backlash. Jay-Z hasn't responded to the comments, which tracks with how he usually handles critics. He's been in the game long enough to know that responding to every slight just gives it more oxygen. Charleston White has made a career out of controversial takes, from criticizing dead rappers to feuding with street culture. This is just the latest in a long line of statements designed to get people talking. Whether you agree with him or not, calling Jay-Z a has-been is objectively wild when the man is still raking in hundreds of millions. But speaking of wild, a high school coach just learned the hard way that some practice drills can cost you everything. Royal High School football coach Adam Brubaker was fired after video showed him kicking a football during practice that struck a player named Julian directly in the groin. The hit left Julian needing help off the field. According to reports, the incident happened after Julian tackled and injured a key teammate during drills. Brubaker allegedly kicked the ball in Julian's direction, and it connected with devastating accuracy. Brubaker later apologized to Julian and his family, calling it a 1 in a million shot. He said he felt deep remorse about what happened and never intended to actually hit the kid where he did. Julian accepted the apology, which shows a lot of maturity for a high school student, but the school district wasn't as forgiving. They launched an investigation into the incident immediately after the video surfaced. The investigation concluded with Brubaker being terminated from his coaching position. The district's report apparently found that his actions violated their code of conduct for staff members, regardless of intent. The video evidence made it pretty much impossible for the school to keep Brubaker on staff. Once something like this goes viral, the optics alone force administrators to act, even if it was genuinely accidental. Some parents and players reportedly defended Brubaker, saying he was a good coach who made a mistake. Others argued that intentionally kicking anything toward a player in anger shows a lack of professionalism. The timing couldn't be worse for Brubaker, as this happened during the season when teams are preparing for playoffs. Royal High School will now have to find a replacement coach mid-season while dealing with the distraction. 1 in a million shot or not, it cost him his job. But if you think that's bad, wait until you hear what a Dunkin employee decided to do in the middle of their shift. A Dunkin' Donuts location is under investigation after a TikTok video went viral showing an employee washing their feet in the sink. And we're not talking about a bathroom sink, we're talking about the actual store sink. The video surfaced earlier this month and immediately exploded across social media. Customers were understandably horrified to see someone cleaning their feet in the same area where food and drinks are prepared. Dunkin corporate released a statement saying they were aware of the video and were conducting a full investigation into the incident. They emphasized that this behavior doesn't reflect their company values or health standards. Health department officials have also gotten involved, which makes sense when you're dealing with a potential health code violation this egregious. They're reviewing the store's practices and determining what actions need to be taken. The employee in question hasn't been publicly identified, and it's unclear whether they've been fired or suspended pending the investigation. Dunkin hasn't commented on any personnel decisions related to the incident. Customers who frequent that location are now questioning everything they've ever ordered. Comments on the viral video range from disgust to dark humor, with people joking about Dunkin's new foot-long special. This isn't the first time a fast food worker has been caught doing something unsanitary on camera, but it never stops being shocking. The difference now is that everyone has a phone and everything goes viral instantly. The investigation will determine what health code violations occurred and what penalties the franchise owner might face. At minimum, expect mandatory retraining for all employees and possibly temporary closure for deep cleaning. America might run on Dunkin', but after seeing someone's feet in the sink, customers at this location might want to run somewhere else for their coffee. So tonight, we covered a denied appeal in a fatal stabbing case, Charleston White calling Jay-Z a has-been, a coach getting fired for a groin kick gone wrong, and feet in a Dunkin' sink. We cover these stories every single day, so subscribe to stay locked in on that Karmelo Anthony case. Guilty or set up? Comment below.